Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And I'm starting to wonder what the point is in buying a Nintendo Switch 2, because we're finding out that Nintendo is reportedly holding off on giving developers dev kits for the Switch 2. Instead, they're telling them to just make Switch 1 games.
Yeah, basically, that's what this Kotaku article was saying. I don't understand it that much because I'm not a game person, but I figured you might understand it better.
Yeah, so dev kits, for those of you who don't know, it's basically they give the developers a kit. That's why it's called dev kit.
Yeah, I got that part.
And it usually includes, hardware and all the specifications to make games for a system. And sometimes the dev units, they go for a lot of money on the secondary market. Like you can find an old Nintendo or Super Nintendo one or whatever. But a lot of times that equipment's like super expensive, and they're being very cautious, I guess, in who they give those dev kits to. But I'm starting to wonder, what is the purpose then? If you want everybody to develop games for the Switch 2 to make a case for why they should upgrade to a Switch 2, because currently there's really not a lot of incentive to, because they've only got like a couple of games.
Yeah, there are a couple new games, and then the rest are just like releases that, other games
updates
that are now for Switch 2. Yeah.
Like HD versions, you can upgrade, Zelda, you can upgrade
but
Harry
they want
Potter.
you to pay the price of like a new game for those.
In some cases, yeah. Some cases only like $10, $15, but some cases like you have to buy the game over again. So, if it were me and I wanted to sell consoles, I would be like, whoever wants to make games, here is a kit. Make as many good games as you can. Instead, they're like, nah, just make Switch 1 games.
I know, that doesn't make any sense. But other than the fact that it's backwards compatible, so they figure,
We'll fix it in post. You can release an update later. Just make a Switch 1 game.
Or is it a case where they get more money off of a Switch 1 game? So, because more people have the Switch 1, so they're like, we'll make more money that way.
Yeah, probably. Look, the Switch has a massive install base. That could be part of the thinking. Maybe this is insidious on their part. Maybe they're trying to force people to make more Switch 1 games because they know they could potentially sell more copies, then later be like, oh yeah, just charge, $10, $15 and you can upgrade to Switch 2.
Something. I don't know. Because as someone who isn't really familiar with all this, I don't really play a lot of these games. I'll try to look at it from that point of view. But yeah, it's just, I saw this and I was like, that's weird. You think that they would be doing the opposite.
So let's talk about this. Let's look into this and see what's going on. Before you get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
We did get a Switch 2. We came by one. And I play Switch 1 games on the Switch 2 because there's nothing really to play on the Switch 2 yet. So,
and the problem with the Switch 2 that makes me concerned was the whole thing they can brick your unit.
I have a huge problem with that
stuff. That's what I'm very concerned about. Oh my gosh, because we did this video, they're going to find you and brick your unit. No, I just think it's concerning to me that if you do anything, you put a game in that they think you didn't pay for through them, so they didn't get all their money, they could, technically shut your unit down and everything else. Yeah, that's what I was concerned about. It's an awful lot of money for them to turn it into like a boat anchor.
Yeah, I was apprehensive. Actually, you had a chance to get one. They had one or two at the local Walmart, and
just a couple left.
And I was even like, I don't care. I told you that. I said, I don't care if we get one. I know the kids wanted it, but I'm like, I don't.
No, you were the one that wanted it.
Well,
that's another story.
Nah, I didn't want it that bad though, because I have concerns about Switch 2.
You were willing to wait for it.
I was willing to wait. Actually, I'll tell you the truth. I'm like, you know what? Let's wait until they actually have more games. They only have 2 games for it. And mostly, I haven't played it a whole lot, but mostly I've just been playing older games or testing them out to see what the difference is, if there's any performance and increase in it. And I'm like,
Is it better? I don't know. I haven't played it.
I played Vampire Survivors and we had 1,000 enemies on the screen at once. It didn't slow down, but I'm like, that's not worth buying a new console for. There will be better games, right? This happens every time there's a new generation of console. It takes about 1 to 2 years to finally hit the stride. There are early adopters, and I kind of swore I'd never buy a console at launch because of this, because there are no good games for it. I got burnt so many times. I got burnt on the Sega CD. I was like, I'm going to get a Sega CD because it's going to kill Super Nintendo. And it was like, yeah, it had 3 good games for the whole thing. And I saved all my money for it, and I got burned on that. And same with the PS5. We got the PS5, and all we did for the first 2 years was play PS4 games on it.
Yes, it's kind of like that again.
Yeah, it's just like that. So anyway, here's a report. This comes from Kotaku, which I will give Kotaku credit now that they've changed ownership. They're actually doing a journalism. Like it seems like
yeah, I know, right?
I honest to God think that they got a talking to and they were like, okay, you want to keep your jobs, right? Then stop with the bullshit.
Oh, wait, but we didn't go through the article yet. Are we going to get to the bottom and it's going to be like something like
Trump.
Yeah, but I feel bad taking a switch too when Trump's in office and people are being deported, and because we had those back when they did the Xbox, the X or whatever, and then they had the PlayStation 5 and the one person was complaining about the holes and the other person was mad. I feel bad taking an Xbox or a PlayStation 5 because of Trump. And I was like, wait, what? And the world's crazy because of Trump and how. And I was like, the whole article was about that instead of reviewing the actual system.
I am hoping to God that we are past the worst of that.
I really hope so
gaming
too.
Journalism. I mean, like they still do stuff, but it used to be every other article from Kotaku was like, oh my God, MAGA's so mad about this game and not. But this looks fun. Like latest news, someone recreated all of RoboCop as the Cracker Barrel logo. Well, that's fun. New Minecraft mod turns it into Portal 2, complete with it. That's fun. There's no anti-Trump shit on here. I mean, I'm sure there is somewhere, but anyway, let's get to the article. Switch 2 launched just a few months ago and was immediately a smash hit, selling more than 3.5 million devices. Since then, Nintendo sold nearly twice that much, selling around 6 million machines. That's crazy. Those are great for Nintendo, which is why it's strange that a recent report indicates the console manufacturer is seemingly hesitant to get dev kits for its hybrid console into the hands of developers. Over at Digital Foundry, enthusiastic interest from developers to get their games running as best they can on Switch 2 isn't enough. Nintendo is encouraging studios to ship their games on Switch 1 and rely on backwards compatibility, according to John Linman on episode 228 of DF Direct Weekly. He continues, there are a lot of developers that are unable to get Switch 2 dev kits. Well, make more. Nintendo, you've got like $1 gajillion, make more. We talked to a lot of devs at Gamescom this year. Many of them said the same things. They want to ship on Switch 2. They'd love to do Switch 2 versions of their games. They can't get the hardware. It's really difficult. Well, it's not like they didn't know it was coming out.
I know, right?
I mean, the Switch 2 has been...
not enough chips?
It's a chip shortage. It's a chip shortage, guys. Just deal with it. It's, oh my God, the tariffs. Because of the tariffs, we can't.
The digital games are going to cost more,
The digital games are going to cost more. The co-host spoke for all of us when he added that he doesn't understand the strategy. I don't either. He knew that for a while now, there were rumors Nintendo was at best inconsistent with who got dev kits in the hands of at worst, into the hands of and at worst withholding. This goes back to other Nintendo consoles. They basically would give their favorites the dev kits first because they're like, okay, Konami, okay, Capcom, okay, Square, we want your games. And yeah, whoever's over, Mindscape, we don't really give a shit about you. But you guys, you do the AAA titles of the time. You guys get the kits first, which makes sense, right? You want.
Yeah, but you also think, because they know this is coming out for a long time, and they did sell a lot of consoles at launch, only I think because of the backwards compatibility. I think that's the only reason why. Because you want most of your console, you're okay to wait a year or so to get them when they come down in price, because there's not going to be any new games. No one's having them, and they only have a couple new games for it because no one can get the kits to make new games. And they knew about it for a long time. So I guess it's kind of like status quo at this point, but still.
Well, this is kind of weird because they said, the devs behind Chill and By the Fire apparently got dev machines. And this is like some podunk indie game.
What the hell? What, you put your faces on the thing and then you with your friends, you chat or what?
I think you chat. I think you do like a face chat with, which I haven't even done any of that with Switch 2. I basically plugged it in, played like one round of Mario Kart.
So you just get like a fake body with your face on it that you sit around a fake campfire.
Yeah, this looks like a mobile.
And you have to pay $15 for that.
$15 for that. There you go. This is some high quality stuff. Who the hell needs Capcom and Konami and Square making games when you got that? Despite the increased power of the new handheld compared to the first iteration, there's still lack of native Switch 2 versions of the games out there already. Yeah, that's why I didn't want one right away, but I'm also like, well, yeah, I guess it's there.
Normally, I know you are kind of like, don't buy a Gen 1
Yeah.
console because there's bugs and stuff in it. They usually fix it by the next iteration of it. And he is like that normally.
Yes.
But like the PlayStation 5, we actually won. And the Taco Bell. Thanks, Taco Bell.
Oh, that was
and
PlayStation 4. No, PlayStation 4.
Yes. That's right. PlayStation 4 we won.
Here's a funny story. I don't think we've ever told. Have we told the story?
We probably have.
Taco Bell was doing, because they did Xboxes some years and they did PlayStation some years. Won the white Destiny PS4. Won that from Taco Bell.
Yes.
And then 2 years later, we won the PlayStation VR also from Taco Bell.
Yes.
We did not rig it. We did not.
That was funny though, because our that was like when
that's when he got laid off.
He was laid off, and both of them. He was laid off for we took 2 or 3 years because there was no jobs, and we worked on other jobs in the meantime. But we didn't know what we were gonna do. Like our son wanted an Xbox or a PlayStation 4, and I'm like, I don't see how I can pull this off. But I was saving all my money.
They were crazy expensive and that was a Destiny. That was a Destiny version.
Yeah, and we won it. I forgot that was a Destiny version, and we won it.
It's a white one.
And I would have kept it for Christmas and stuff. I freaked out so I won because I didn't think I'd actually win, and then I started screaming, and then the kids were like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And then so they found out. But then you won the VR headset a couple years later. That's all you wanted for Christmas was a VR headset. And you won that.
Well, I was working then because I remember I was working in an ad agency.
Yeah, you were okay.
And I was trying to explain to them, like they were like, "Wait, you can win from Taco Bell." I'm like, "Yeah, you don't have to buy the food." I'm like, "No, you actually can get codes and win that way." And man, we used to clean up. We used to clean up on Pepsi points too. That was a whole thing.
So anyway, that was
Pallets
PlayStation
full
4.
of
PlayStation
DVDs.
5, we were able to get the first version because Target had it at the very, very bottom of their screen, and no one scrolled down that far. They kept refreshing it. It wasn't showing up in the place people thought it would. It showed up someplace else. It was probably an error. And I saw it, so I nabbed one. I called my sister. She nabbed one. And then I put it up on Twitter so everybody else who followed me could nab one. And then that's how you got that one. But no one cares about that. So
yeah.
Sorry about the side stories.
No, that's okay. I think people listen
Not
to
you,
us
everybody else. I'm sorry about the side stories.
I think they listen to us for the side stories because anybody can
I'm
report
sure
the
they'll
news.
tell us.
Anybody can report the news, but only Clownfish TV can tell you the Clownfish TV side stories in the lore.
Clownfish TV can take a 2-block walk and make it 3 miles. Anyway.
People complain about that too. I'm like, well, then watch somebody else. We like our stories. Here are the comments. This person says strategy is that there was none. Nintendo obviously rushed the launch due to consumer pressure. Yeah, I'm not particularly disappointed, but it's apparent Switch 2 will have us holding our breath for a respectable exclusive lineup for a few. Yeah, I think it's going to take like 2 years to actually get games worth buying the console.
So if you don't have one, don't be stressed.
I wouldn't worry about it.
They make them for Switch 1. So they're still going to plan on doing Switch 1. So don't.
You're good. Missing.
You're good.
Yeah, you're not missing much. I'm gonna be honest. Like I had it plugged into the same TV I had the Switch 1 plugged into, and I forgot that it was a Switch 2. I'm like, it looks pretty much exactly the same. Like it's like, oh yeah, it's a Switch 2, except they upscale the graphics on some of the games, and the text is really blurry. So I'm like, no, actually, this one I think like I was playing Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. I'm like, I'm just gonna play in the Switch 1 because the text is all blurry now. It pisses me off. Like you pay that much for a console and it's all blurry. Actually, no. Part of the reason I agreed to it is I'm like, well, if we're going to talk about it, we probably need to have one so we can talk about it intelligently or quasi-intelligently. Except
for me, I don't play it, so
I don't really care. It's like it's there, but whatever. This person said Nintendo misses the NES in the beginning of this SNES era when it used to dictate which studios could develop. Yeah, that's what they did. Develop games on their systems and lock franchises or entire catalogs under threats of never being allowed to launch a game again. Reminds me of 93, 94 when Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition Mega Man The Wily Wars came to the Genesis. It was a scandal. I remember that. You don't understand. You think the console wars are bad now. Back then, it was treason. It was treason if somebody who was making games for Nintendo was also making the same game for the Sega Genesis.
Oh, yeah. Now it's cross-platform all the time now, but it didn't used to be. It was like certain things were on certain platforms, and that was it.
Yeah, when they I remember all the Super Nintendo fanboys, and I had both. I had a Genesis and a Super Nintendo.
Oh, but we did too.
But they were so damn salty when they brought Street Fighter 2 out for the Genesis, because that was for them. Like, you understand, people were buying the Super Nintendo just for Street Fighter 2. And it's like, ha ha, Nintendo's better because we got Street Fighter 2, you freaking losers. Da, da. Then they dropped it for the Genesis and actually played better. The graphics
I was going to say, I think
good.
it wasn't better on Genesis.
It played better on the Genesis, yeah, it did. The graphics weren't as good, but they brought a 6-button pad out and everything for it, and they were so mad. God, they were so mad. And then when Super Street Fighter 2 came out, they just put it on both platforms. And
I get it. I get mad too. People were buying systems before, like just for a game, and then they turned around and made it cross-platform, and they're pissed. There are still some that are just on one platform, but there are ones that people got mad about because thought it was going to be locked and it wasn't. But anyway, are we going to wrap this up?
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up. I just think it's a really weird strategy. I would tell you, again, as somebody who has one, don't worry about buying a Switch 2 because there's really nothing good for it yet. So
yet,
unless you
wait.
like Mario Kart, there's really nothing good for it. So wait a couple of years. It'll be cheaper too. Well, maybe. We'll see.
I don't know.
Chip shortage, tariffs.
Yeah,
$900. All right, we're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.